shit, Sarah. All day. Hell yeah.
Arm wrestling's about to take place.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Italia here. I'm your host. If you guys haven't subscribed already, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please help out my growing channel. With that being said, I'd like to introduce tonight's special guest, no other than legend arm wrestler, Todd Hutchings, aka Toddzilla. Good evening, Todd.
Hey, Paul, how we doing?
I'm doing great, brother. So I know you got a big match coming up on January 8th in Purcellville, Virginia, hosted by Travis Bagent. Just recently picked up by Italia ArmWrestling Promotions. Will be on top of promotions. So I'm going to let you tell us a little about the details on that.
Well, like you said, it's January 8th in Purcellville, Virginia. There's another tournament attached to it. Several weight classes. Travis usually runs a pretty good event. Harvest Gap Brewery. And there's a flyer on my Facebook page. So you get all the details there.
Well, the main question, the big one is, who is the opponent, brother? Heard it's a big-time Australian arm wrestler by the name of Lachlan Adair. Rolls with Ryan Bowen's crew out of Australia. So tell us a little about this match and how did it all come to fruition and all?
Well, Travis just called me. I thought I was going to have a match in December with somebody else, and it fell through. And Travis just out of the blue, Travis called me somewhere around maybe November. I can't remember. Maybe it might have been end of October, sometime in November. And Travis offered me the match. We negotiated a few details. I accepted. I got the biggest thing I was worried about, because Australia had a pretty severe lockdown during COVID. So I was worried this Omicron variant was going to shut Australia down again. So I keep checking the Australia website. They're letting the vaccinated people fly where they want. So should be a good one. I don't know why Travis picked Lachlan, but yeah, like you said, Lachlan's the ranked #1 in Australia. So he dominates the whole continent.
So yeah, I gotta throw in a little something. So last weekend, I threw to Washington States with Tim Talmadge. And one of the Aussies actually showed up there. It was Ryan Bowen's guy, Mario Tambakis. And yeah, bro, he was no joke, man. He really did put a show on. Definitely showed that the Aussie arm wrestlers need to be taken seriously. I think he had a win on Cody Merritt right hand. He had a battle with Brandon Elsessor left hand, and kid looked like he really knew what he was doing and all. So yeah, the Aussies are definitely get allowed out of their cage. They're finally able to travel and all. So very happy with that. And I think you and Lachlan have a little history or something. I remember when I first started arm wrestling 2 years ago. I remember seeing that you were out in Australia. I think you were training with Ryan Bowen or something. How did that all happen? And can you give us a little background of that?
Yeah, I went to Australia. I think it was 2018. It was after the Jerry Cataract match. I was down there for a week or two. I was back in the States maybe about a year. Well, it was right before COVID started. There was a lot of talk of, getting a match together, but it couldn't be held. I think Australia was allowed to fly to Dubai, but they couldn't come. I don't know what it was, but COVID messed it all up,
Let me just ask this question. I don't mean to cut you off, but what was the whole plan with you and Ryan? Did Ryan contact you? Were you going out there for training? What was the whole reason of you going out to Australia?
Ryan invited me to Australia for a couple of weeks, and it just so happened that my job offered me an opportunity to go there as well. So we worked out the deal that my job flew me to Australia. And for the first week I was out there, so my job paid for my plane tickets. And then I worked it out with my employer. I go, well, let me stay for 2 weeks. I won't charge you for the hotel or anything. So the first week I was out there. So I stayed with Ryan for the 2 weeks. And then the first week I just worked. I worked my normal, 45 hours or so. And then me and Ryan would pull and train and stuff after my job. And the second week, it was just full-time arm wrestling.
Okay, now, what were you guys doing? Were you kind of teaching Ryan things? Were you guys just, what was like the whole basis behind it? Was that to step up your training?
Yeah, we went out there. This was in, Ryan's not one of those big, heavy weightlifting train. You got these arm wrestlers that are heavy on the weight training, and other arm wrestlers are heavy on the weight training. Back then, Ryan was not too heavy to weight training, so the intention was to go out there and get him set with a weight training program, go through, film a couple of max effort days, and then we traveled around Australia. We put on some seminars and pulled a lot of the different clubs and stuff down there. It's something he had done. He had Matt Mask out there and Devin Lorette before me. I think Sarah was supposed to go out there after me, but I think COVID wrecked that. And Justin Bishop was out there before me as well. So, Ryan's done a lot of work to promote Australian arm wrestling. And so my invite out there was part of that. I wasn't the first or the last, but I was just one of a series of folks Ryan was bringing out there to get the Australians some exposure. And I think Devin's been out there twice, now that I think about it. Because I think Devin made a comment how much the level had improved from his first trip to his last trip, second trip or whatever.
Yeah, I just wanted to say for all the new arm wrestlers out there, you might be new in the game. Ryan Bowen is not only a great ambassador for Australian arm wrestling, he's just a great ambassador for arm wrestling all over the world. This guy is just doing amazing things with YouTube, setting up matches in Australia, just getting a lot of outside eyes on arm wrestling. So just want to thank Ryan for everything he's doing for our sport. Really, really great person and all that. So I also wanted to find out, so when you were staying at Ryan's house and all, when did you first meet Lachlan, and how did that go?
I think I met Lachlan the second day I was there. When you go stay at Ryan's house, you arm wrestle in the morning, in the evening, and in the afternoon, and anytime in between. I don't think I met Lachlan the first day I was there. I think I met him like the second day or something I was there. He just came. Ryan would have a series of folks come over while we were at Ryan's house, and then we would travel to the other clubs. Australia's pretty big, so we got on a plane and flew. Oh man, I should have known this, to the part in the south. Brisbane's where Ryan's at. Man, I got to pull out a map of Australia, and I could have told you all the places I was at. But I think Lachlan came over the second day by himself, and then later in the week, Ryan got several over for some like one-on-one like practice and training and coaching and stuff. So it was, it's kind of a blur, and it was several years ago. But yeah, I think Lachlan just came over the second day just to practice and pull a little bit.
Now, did you know of Lachlan before that? Did you know from social media of him, or was that the first time hearing and knowing Lachlan?
No, I knew before I went out there, I knew of Ryan and I knew of Danny Tash. I wasn't aware of any of the other folks. Okay. But I don't follow a lot of international arm wrestlers either. This is like my fourth year of the WAL, so I'm focused on just WAL competitors.
Okay, so you meet Lachlan the second day, and do you guys pull that day now, or you just met him?
No, that second day was that video you just tagged on Facebook. That was the very first time I met Lachlan.
Okay, wow. And were you? What was your initial after pulling him? What was your whole outtake from Lachlan as a puller?
Oh, he's strong. He's definitely strong. He's better wrister at the time. Now he's changed he's improved quite a bit, but he definitely was strong wrist to wrist. Had good pronation, but yeah, it was just all around solid, strong guy.
Okay, and now when you were pulling him, who got the better? Who would say was more, winning the matches and all? I know it's practice and not much to be taken from that, but just for our own knowledge, who was being the more dominant force that day?
Well, you just posted it. Did you not watch it? Tell me. You just posted it and tagged me in it. You tell me how it went. Tell me.
Well, what I want to get at is I'm just trying to figure out, because in the video it looked like Lachlan was kind of getting the best of you, but I also wanted to find out, were you pulling before that? Were you fresh? Were you actually trying? Because I've also seen you pull, and I see you play around with guys, and you let them think that they're getting something on you, and then as soon as they make a little comment or something, next thing Toddzilla comes out and reality kicks in. So that's why I'm bringing this up.
I was fresh as the daisy and the strongest I've ever been. I was giving it by 100% all, and he was just opening me up like a little girl.
Wow. Okay. Now, is he considered number one out of Ryan's whole crew over there? Is that the guy to beat on their team?
He's considered number one out of the entire continent. As far as I know, there's 3 major clubs, maybe 4. And then there's probably some mercenaries or Ronin running around. But even back then, Ryan considered Lachlan the best Australia had to offer. Now Lachlan hadn't officially competed or earned that like he has now. But it's even said in that video that Ryan just straight up said that if you asked who was the best in Australia, Ryan would have said Lachlan, even back then.
Now, what weight does Lachlan sit at? He looks like a pretty big guy. He's real muscle bound and all. What weight is he at?
250, I would think. He looks like a 240, somewhere between 240 and 260. It's kind of hard to judge. I'd put him at a solid 240, 245-ish, but he could be a little heavier, lighter. It's hard to, it's been a while, and I can't quite remember how tall he is. I think he's a little taller than me. So, short people look heavier than what they typically are. So you usually got to adjust for it. But I think he's probably a solid 245. He's probably not as big as Marcio, but he would be about Marcio's size. If you wanted to compare him to somebody in America. He's bigger than Brandon Elsesser for sure. He's probably like a Chris Chandler type size guy. You know what I mean? He's very lean. He's very muscular, very lean. So that's, that sometimes throws the weight estimate off. But yeah, I'd put him about where Marcio is. The current Marcio, not the Marcio from 10 years ago, but current Marcio and Lachlan are probably the same size if Lachlan's not a little smaller.
And what are you expecting your weight to be come January 8th?
220 pounds, firm and fully packed.
And I got to just let all the subscribers know and all that. Don't really judge by the weight of people, because I just want to remind you, Todzilla's last match, which we did in Lindale, Texas, he went against a competitor called Corey West. He's also known as the Gorilla. And Corey's 420 plus pounds. We didn't even have a scale that day that would give a correct readout. So, so as far as judging by weight, Toddzilla does some pretty crazy stuff. So now, what are you expecting? So you're telling me you were at 100%, you were fresh as a daisy and all, and Lachlan still seemed to get the best of you. So what's the plan?
I'm just going to go at him hammer and tongs, keep my knuckles high and go sideways. Pretty much the same plan I always have.
You know, it's pretty funny. Is when you say this, you say it with a smirk on your face and everything. So I don't know if you are being sarcastic or if you're like, you know what I mean? Like
No,
it's I
man,
can't tell with you.
love. It's all I'm gonna do. It takes a while to figure out how. He's a hard one to judge because I don't know what he does. He just doesn't have a big resume out there. All right. But arm wrestling Jerry Caderet is a completely different plan than arm wrestling Devin Lorette. So it's hard to lay out what I would do now against somebody I've never actually pulled before. And a lot of times on these elite guys, it takes a couple of times to figure out what to do. You know, to dive inside, to go say on a hook or a side pressure, something like that is risky. It's risky to do that with somebody you don't know. So the safest route is a top roll is more of a defensive thing. The King's move is the ultimate defensive moves. So, you know, the first match, I would suspect we both go outside just until we can figure out how each other's hand feels, who's going to be a little bit, who's got the speed game going, who's got the timing of the refs down. So the first match is probably going to be the longest, and it'll be an outside match. And then, as we get comfortable with each other, you'll probably see the matches go inside if one of us feels better there.
What I remember from the big match that you had in Lindale against Corey West was round one. I remember Corey West beating you, and it looked like in a very dominating fashion. I kind of was a little nervous, like, oh no, this is not even going to be a good match now. Then I seen the switch go off.
The same thing.
I seen the switch go off, and the only thing I could contribute to is the actual switch of Todd Hutchins turning into Toddzilla. I honest to God seen that day, and that was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. That round two was just like, wow. So can we expect something like that, or is Toddzilla?
God, I hope I don't lose match one like that again. I hope it doesn't take that. I hope I'm better in round one than I was then. So.
Now, were you more nervous with? Were you more nervous going up against Corey West with him being 420 plus pounds? Or are you more nervous with this match coming up with Lachlan Adair because of your previous polling with him?
I was more worried about Corey, not so much because of what he weighed, but I have a problem with tall guys. Tall men give me problems. So I have a geometry issue if they're really tall. As soon as somebody starts becoming more my height, then a lot of the geometry issues disappear for me. So that gives me a little bit more lanes to work on. But yeah, if they're really tall, they've got options, because it's harder to pin them because I run out of table. They've got more avenues to press against me. It's they can crowd the center of the table more. So tall guys give me problems,
So he's around the same height as you, correct? You guys are, what's your height?
I think he's a few inches taller than me. I'm just trying to think back. Yeah, he doesn't strike me as real tall. He's probably.
Now, what was
the
strength?
I bet he's somewhere between 6'1" and 6'3".
Okay. And what was the strength that you noticed that day that Lachlan had? What was something that you want to stay away from?
Well, I definitely don't want him wrist to wrist with his shoulder right up next to his hand. So, I'd prefer not to be. Well, but then again, I don't know. I don't know what he's like today. And, I haven't been sitting around on the couch eating marshmallows for the last 4 years either. So I might go, fuck it. Let's just go inside. Let's just see whose elbow can handle it, Yeah, I mean, I feel good about my elbows, so I don't really mind inside matches.
That would be wow. I'd love to see you two go inside.
The strap is. They pull out a black strap, then we'll just go inside. They pull out a red strap, I'm top rolling.
So that was about 2 years ago when you were at Ryan's house and all that. And so how did you guys originally get along, you and Lachlan, I'm saying? Did you guys hit it off? Was there a little animosity from day one?
Oh, We got along like Riggs and Murtaugh did in Lethal Weapon. We got along just great.
I don't know that reference, but
You didn't see the Lethal Weapon movies?
I don't remember it, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was Danny Glover and Mel Gibson.
Gotcha. Okay. So when did the actual beef, come about? What, was it, sometime later? I mean, I think it was like a year ago. I remember seeing some like back and forth banter, and what all started it?
It had to have been in 2019. Because like I said, we were negotiating a match and he couldn't get out of Australia. Remember, Australia locked down for COVID, where we could still fly in the United States. So, and this was before the Larry Wheels stuff really started up. So, and I'll tell you what, that COVID year, it's like a whole year went by and I can't remember. I mean, I think things happened 2 years ago and it happened like 3 years ago because I'd forgotten that whole COVID year. But I think it was 2019, 2020, whenever COVID. Oh, well, wait, COVID started end of 2019?
Yeah,
End of 2019?
Yeah. I think it was beginning in 2019, I believe.
Yeah. So we were supposed to pull, we were about a year into COVID. So whether that was 2019 or 2020, I can't remember. Because it was weird because well, hell, I think you brought me out to California about the same time.
So you know what? It was 2020. I do remember that. It was 2020.
Because it was
I believe
weird.
You came out in February. You came out to my house and we did that big seminar.
Yeah, because in Ohio, you didn't notice that there was a COVID thing. We weren't wearing masks. We weren't locked down. I didn't miss a day of work. I mean, everything was just fine. But when I went to California, it was like, holy shit, it's like a nuclear bomb went off or something. So it was completely different. So,
and now that I remember,
really
I believe
COVID hit different parts of the world differently, man. COVID really didn't touch my Southern Ohio at all. I mean, my life didn't really change at all.
But I do remember now when we were in the limo bus, we were talking and there was something going on. I think it just started with you and Lachlan and Ryan. I think there was some back and forth banter, and I think I brought it up to you then. That was when I first realized, oh wow, these two got a legitimate beef with each other and all. And then it kind of just went quiet for a while, because them being locked in Australia and couldn't go anywhere. And then we get to today, I guess in November, Travis hit you up and, there started being action with Australia being able to travel again. And, he got us here today. And now we're finally going to get to see this match going down January 8th. And I'm very, very excited about this. And I really don't know what they expect. Just, I haven't really seen too much action of the Australians. I'm only in the sport 2 years, so they've pretty much been locked down the whole time I've been in the sport. But I think as far as of a whole country and all, I think this match means tremendous amount, because if somehow he does beat you, I mean, Australian arm wrestlers are going to have to be taken seriously worldwide, that this will change the whole.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Justin Bishop went out there and beat Ryan pretty handily. And I thought there was 2 Australians that went to Washington State, not 2. I thought there was another like Lachlan Carpenter. Wasn't he? Isn't he an Australian?
You're correct. You're correct. Yeah, I wasn't sure what his name was. I actually didn't get to really meet him much at Washington, but yeah, there was 2 of them that came in.
Yeah, I just saw where Ryan's going to bring Jordan Sill to Australia to pull Ryan.
Yeah, so right before our big event, Ryan made a YouTube video, and he was just letting everybody know, whoever was going to Washington State Championships, that he had his 2 Australian hit squad coming in, and anybody that could beat Mario right hand, he would pay $100, and he would also fly them in 2022 to Australia for a super match against him, and he'd also do a feature video, which he's already contacted Jordan. He sent $100, and he's already confirmed that he will be flying Jordan Sill in. Congratulations, Jordan Sill. Thank you, Ryan Bowen, for the great opportunity and all that. So, So what else, Toddzilla? What else can we expect from you on January 8th? Do you have any?
I think you'll get your money's worth. I usually leave the audience fairly satisfied. Even if I lose, people have a good time. So I think, this is definitely one you're going to want to be there in person for. You're not going to want to watch this one at home.
Another thing was, did you get to see the match between Ryan and Lachlan? That I think it was about a month ago it went down.
Oh, you really don't go to my YouTube channel at all, do you, Paul?
Brother, I'm so sorry. I am so busy with a million things on my plate, but I will definitely catch up.
On Lachlan in the Ryan and Lachlan matches in 2 of my videos.
Okay. I got to check those out, but
you got to go to my
fans
day,
and all
brother,
that,
or else you're just gonna fall behind.
Let's just hear a quick recap. What did you think of that whole? Was that surprising to you, Lachlan dominating him so much, or you already knew that?
As much as Lachlan dominated Ryan did surprise me. To be honest, I thought Ryan was going to win. I thought Ryan figured out a way to beat, because they practiced together. So what I thought happened was these 2 guys practiced together for a long time, and somebody figured something out and didn't tell the other guy. But now what I think happened is practice being practice, Ryan read too much into it. And Lachlan showed up as a gladiator and Ryan showed up as a litigator. And what I saw was Lachlan just flat overpowered Ryan. It looks like Ryan tried to do a couple of different techniques. And I think you probably could have blindfolded Lachlan and put earplugs in him. And I think Lachlan would have won that match without hearing go. What I saw was Lachlan's hand just looked phenomenal and completely shut Ryan's down. So what I infer that means is Ryan hasn't touched a weight plate in probably 4 years, and Lachlan's probably in the gym twice a day, 5 or 6 days a week, because he looked brutal strong. And the scariest thing I saw was Lachlan looked faster than Ryan on every single match. And Ryan's faster than I am. I pulled Ryan enough to know Ryan's off goes faster than me. And Lachlan looks faster than Ryan. So Lachlan's probably as strong as me and probably faster.
And what about endurance? What do you expect?
I win that. I don't think Ryan's got a lot of endurance. And Lachlan, compared to Ryan, probably has an endurance advantage just because the stronger guy. First, when you talk about endurance, there's a couple of different. There's these terms, endurance and strength endurance. For instance, if you're talking about curling a weight halfway up and holding it, if I can curl 100 pounds and you can curl 150 pounds, you should be able to hold 75 pounds longer than me, just because you're operating at a lower percentage of your peak strength. But that doesn't mean you can curl 20 pounds more than me. So there's a difference between, if I squat 1,000 pounds and you squat 500 pounds, that doesn't mean I can run 13 miles quicker than you can run 13 miles, So when people talk strength in arm wrestling, you got to talk about, are you talking about strength at, 50 to 70% of your max effort? Or are you just talking about the ability to do 15 matches in a row versus 5 matches in a row? What I see out of Lachlan is he's got that strength endurance. He's got that ability to work at Ryan's near max for a lot longer than what Ryan could work at. Now, had it been a best of 20, maybe Ryan comes back and wins the last 11. I don't know. But as long as they're only going to arm wrestle 5 times and they're both going near max, then yeah, Lachlan definitely shut down Ryan. And Ryan needs to get some fucking weight training in, man. You can't. You,
I just also wanted to,
but technique doesn't wipe out power. You know, bad technique and a lot of power beats perfect technique and no power.
so I just wanted to clarify. So it's a 5-round match. It's also
It's a race to 4. It's the first person to win 4.
Okay, first person to 4. Now
WAL rules,
okay.
WAF table, and I don't know who the ref is. The ref was going to be Bart, but Lachlan didn't like Bart reffing. So, well, hell, you probably know. You're the promoter. You guys got to find a ref. So, or 2 refs.
Yeah, we're on that. We're going to work that all out. Me and Travis.
ArmWrestling Strength Shop for all your arm wrestling handle needs. Really great products, really well made, quality. Of course, Italia got them all. The man that makes everything is Lucas Raymond. You could check out his website. It's armassassinstrengthshop.com. He's also on Facebook. Yeah, really great products. I practically brought his whole shop in my gym. Just want to get the word out there, help out our fellow arm wrestlers, and also get a great product at the same time.